Lead and Be Legendary presents A Name Tag is Necessary.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of A Name Tag is Necessary. And this is where we typically break down the world of music, which is into, let's say, digestible conversations. And that's whether we're creating the music, whether it's the business of music, or if it's, pretty much just like our enjoyment of the music. I'm your host, Nametag Alexander. For this episode, it's going to be a micro episode, solo micro episode. I want to talk directly to the independent artists out there, pretty much the ones of y'all that's putting in work. You got some new music, you feel like it's ready to go, and you really can't wait. You anxious. You can't wait to hit upload on one of those platforms like DistroKid, TuneCore, or wherever you decide to like put your music out or whatever. That could be even Bandcamp, so on and so forth. The list goes on. But before you do that, I got 5 steps that most indie artists skip before releasing music. And honestly, skipping these steps is some of the music, it's not going to get, you're not going to get the type of traction that you're looking for or money if you skip these steps. That even applies to myself sometimes too. I ain't gonna even hold you up. Now, just to get right into it, we're going to go with step 1. Well, what my notes saying? I done wrote this shit down so small. Let me blow this up. Hold up. All right, step 1. Registration is not optional. Now, with step 1, and this should pretty much be obvious, but you'd be surprised how overlooked it is. Register your music. You wrote the song, or you probably produced it. You might even be splitting it with who you collab with as far as like the, what do you call it, the split sheets, if you're doing that or whatever. You might have it who you collaborated with. That's cool. But have you registered the music with the PRO? That's ASCAP. I might have talked about this in an episode from before, but that's ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC. You could pick one, whichever one. And that's how you get your performance royalties off your music. Then you got Sound Exchange. Now, if your music isn't, if it's, I don't want to say isn't, I'm sorry. If your music is streaming on satellite radio or internet radio, that's still a thing. It's a lot of people I know that still listen to Pandora. Trust me. That's a whole different check that you missing out on if you ain't registered with Sound Exchange. And you might need to collect that. I ain't gonna say might, you need to collect that. That's money you leaving on the table. The MLC, which is the Mechanical Licensing Collective. I just found out about this maybe 2 years ago. I'm not sure. It might have been 2 years ago. Anyway, they pay out the digital mechanical royalties when your music is streamed on the main platforms like Spotify or Apple Music, right? You ain't sign up, you don't get paid. So again, you want to sign up with the MLC. Again, that's the Mechanical Licensing Collective. It's really as simple as that. Again, you don't sign up, you don't get paid. And if you don't want to manage like all those different platforms, because there's a lot of them, I honestly wish it was just like one main platform that just handled everything, but it's not. Right now, we just got to upload and register with multiple platforms or whatever to collect your money from music so that you don't leave money on the table. Now, if you don't want to manage all these platforms, then sign up with a platform like Songtrust. I'm saying platform too much, but sign up with Songtrust. Now, what they do, and you can look this up, they pretty much help you collect performance royalties worldwide. Because a lot of the PROs like ASCAP or BMI, I believe, in fact, they collect just in the States. It's not worldwide. So that's where I believe somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. If you listening and this is your lane and you know a lot more about this than I do, feel free to fact check me. That's cool. I'm with that. I'm cool for being corrected and when it comes to important information like this. But Songtrust is going to help you collect worldwide. It's another one I just found out about through Cobalt. It's called Cosign. It's an affiliation with Cobalt or whatever, but they're a publishing administration. That's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down in another episode, not right now. Now, I say that to say, if you putting out music without doing this, without registering with the MLC or Songtrust or just with a PRO in general, or let's say Sound Exchange, you basically working for free. And I know a lot of us ain't trying to do that. We ain't a fan of that at all. Step 2. I hate pronouncing this word because there's 2 different ways you can pronounce it. Metadata or metadata. Anyway, it matters. Metadata matters. We're going to stick with just saying data. Now, with step 2, get your metadata right. Metadata is just a technical word That's basically meaning song info. This is where the platforms track your plays. They pay out royalties. This is how platforms are able to track your plays, to pay out royalties and suggest your music in our friendly algorithm, right? So you want to make sure you got this intact. Make sure your artist name is there, the song title, who produced it, the featured artist, their information, the ISRC code, which is basically the song ID, and even song lyrics. Yes, you definitely want to have the song lyrics. A lot of y'all I see when y'all got your music up on like Apple Music, for example, the lyrics don't be there. Get your lyrics there. You get paid off of that too. So those are things you want to make sure you have. That all falls under step 2, metadata. Artist name, song title, producer credits, the feature artist, the ISRC code, and even the lyrics. Make sure all that shit is correct. If any of that is off, it can mess up your payments or even confuse the listeners. Now, in the worst case, you can get skipped over for a sync opportunity because they can't verify who the actual owner of the song is or who's on it. Trust me, I know this has happened to me early on. Believe me. This is basically your, we're still talking about the metadata. This is basically your digital fingerprint. Treat it like it matters because it does. Now, let's get on to step 3. Pre-save and promotion. Now, with step 3, listen, pre-saves are not real promo. Again, pre-saves are not real promo. I know with pre-save links, it's the trend, like link in bio, pre-save my new single or whatever. That's cool. But what are you doing beyond that? The promotion itself is engagement and is not just announcements or announcements about the announcements. If you're not showing people why the music matters or even giving people a reason to care, that pre-save link means nothing. Trust me. What you can do instead, you could probably share like a quick video of what inspired the music. Try doing like a preview of the hook or the instrumental. I don't know, maybe a visual, you in the studio or something, whatever. Some shit like that. Let fans, like I was just saying, let them get a look behind the scenes or maybe the creation process. And think about it. If you wouldn't engage in what you're posting, why would anybody else, right? Let's get on to step 4. Get that cover art right. With step 4, your cover art matters more than you think. Your artwork, it's the first thing a listener gonna see, especially on platforms where they like aimlessly scrolling. And if your cover art looks cheap and lazy, most people gonna assume your music is too. I would recommend using a platform like Canva if you're doing it yourself. They got a bunch of dope templates on there. Or go to Fiverr, or with 2 R's, by the way, or Upwork. Hire somebody who knows what they're doing if you don't want to do it yourself. Because that presentation matters, especially if you like building a brand and aiming for opportunities. Like if you're trying to get on a playlist or a sync, man, make sure that cover art or the visuals look dope. I got songs that have been overlooked just because the cover art didn't catch attention. Now, on the flip side of that, I've also seen artists' music gain momentum just because they had dope visuals or the cover art stood out. Now, I said this is going to be a micro episode. I'm going to try to do more of these as well. But last but not least, step 5. Dog, plan your post-release. With step 5, don't just drop the music. Have a post-release plan. So many artists focus on release day like it's the Super Bowl halftime show or some shit, and they do nothing afterwards. You making a big mistake, trust me. Overall, you should have at least a few weeks or shit, even 2 weeks or of some type of content centered around your music. Not none of that goofy shit, but some type of centered content around your music and make sure it's ready to go. You could do this through like lyric breakdown videos, live performance clips or rehearsals. You could post fan reactions to it if you like that enough where you got fans or supporters or whatever. Or you can explain what the music means to you and try to think, too, you want to try to think in campaigns, not just like one-off releases, right? But overall, your music, this as part of step 5, should be live. What's the way I can word this? Make sure your music lives beyond the release day. You want to get some momentum going behind it. Try to tell a story just to keep people coming back and checking for more. But we're going to wrap it up. Just to run back the steps real quick, we got number 1, register your music. Number 2, fill in your metadata. 3, do more than pre-save links. 4, invest in some quality cover art. And 5, plan out what comes after the music. These aren't like flashy steps, but they're pretty much the foundation, right? It's going to turn what you present as a passion with what you create into a more professional, repetitive system overall. If you feel like this episode helps some artists out, if you're an artist or if you're not an artist, share it with an artist who needs to hear it. Like if you feel like it helped you out, let me know. Hit me up on the socials. You find me all across all platforms. Just search Nametag Alexander, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever, TikTok, Facebook. I'm on there off and on here and there. You can find me on there on the Lead and Be Legendary group page. And also subscribe to the podcast, man. A name tag is necessary across all platforms where you get your preferred podcast listenings at or downloads. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. I'm on YouTube heavier now. Yeah, in the meantime, I'll drop a link in the description of the episode where you can cop some of that merch. If you rock with the episode, talk to me. Let me know. Till next time, it's the name tag is necessary. Peace.